AskReddit by you know above all. What was your "it can't be that easy, it was that easy" moment in your life? Lived in Jersey and a friend invited me to a commercial audition at a Nick bar. Went because of bar. Auditioned after 2 beers. Left thinking it was a waste of time. A month later, I get a call that they want to use me for the commercial. Director was the guy who directed the original Space Jam. I got lines and ended up in 2 of their commercials and got a $40K payday where I thought someone made a clerical error. Started my acting career and now a writer, director, flight attendant. Edit. If you're interested in the most recent film I've made, it's a short horror found here. Out of order. https://vimeo.com/361122072. One time I tightened my gas cap and the check engine light went off. Those pesky small ever leaks. Fixing clogged drains. Started out because my sink drain plug wouldn't stay up. Poked around under the sink and found the pop-up rod had rusted completely through and broken. Cost me $5 for a new one at the plumbing supply store next to where I worked at the time. Took 5 minutes to figure out how to swap, and now I know how sink and shower drains come apart, which makes unclogging them simple. Maybe it's just me, but in my brain it seemed like that was something I'd have to call a plumber to come unclog, but it's all remarkably simple. First time I went over to my now wife's house, she mentioned that she accidentally clogged the bathroom sink with a bottle cap. Challenge fucking accepted. Disassembled the drain, got the cap, and had it back together in 10 minutes. Pretty sure that sealed the deal right there. Suing someone in small claims. It was surprisingly easy because my case was rock solid and I had a professionally printed document of evidence, witness statements, and precise records sent over to the court while the defendant did literally nothing but send unlabeled loose printouts of my Facebook page as her so-called evidence. It was a very quick judgment for plaintiff. I'm quite interested in small claims. Do you want to share any other details? No worries if not. One of the kids I babysit was going through a phase of "I want to be a baby again." Jealous of her sister. Weeks of gentle parenting and such. You know what worked? I was eating ice cream and she wanted some. I said babies don't get ice cream. That was it. She was done. Almighty ice cream. Got a salary request when applying for a job. Accidentally wrote double what I meant to write since the number keys were right next to each other. They accepted anyway. Edit. Well, that exploded. Not me, but someone I know. Got a new job. Asked for 60, thinking $60K per year. Employer agreed thinking $60 hour. This is how they found out they were severely underpaid at previous job. I've hated every job I've ever had. At 18 I joined the military for 6 years. That sucked the whole time. Then went into customer service at Walmart, and they were a bunch of assholes to everyone. Tried security and they were just degrading. Job after job doing what I thought was the right thing. I decided to apply for a local HVAC company just working call center. Nothing big, I think there are a total of 9 of us on phones. Honestly, it's the best job I've ever had. We all get along. Spend hours a day on our group chat sharing memes. Our management has one-on-one meetings every 2 weeks with the goal of this meeting is not work related, but we want to know just how you're doing. How's life treating you? What do you need? There's constant communication about expectations and how we can better meet them and how they can help us perform better. The majority of the company's profits are used to better employee lives. I get monthly commission and residuals, and $30 a month healthcare with BCBS, along with monthly potlucks, paid lunches, competitive pay starting at $17 an hour. I haven't seen any turnover, literally none. My position was only hiring because too many people got promoted. Lucky. Found a 60-inch TV by the dumpster. Plugged it in, didn't turn on. Looked up common problems with the model number, bought a part on eBay for $20, replaced part, Had a huge TV. Edit. Wow, that is many upvotes. I didn't even know Reddit gave trophies for best comment day, and I'm kinda confused why I got it for fixing a TV. Anyways, so fun to hear about everyone's similar experiences. Let's all keep fixing shit that turns out to be $20 or less with minimal effort from not being shit. I was given a TV because the audio didn't work on it. On the back was a sound on off button. In college, the professor advertised an internship and wrote the info on the board. Out of a class of 150 students, I was the only one to apply, and I fulfilled my internship requirement for graduation. Deleted. Tying shoelaces. When I was a kid, no one ever managed to teach me how to tie my shoes. I remember never being able to get that last step that ties it all together, and in general I suck with knots. I would have been garbage in the Boy Scouts. I got into my early 20s relying mostly on Velcro shoes. But one day I sat down with a pair of new shoes determined to figure it out. I put one on and tied it correctly on the first try. I just sat there dumbfounded for a few minutes, wondering how it had been that easy all along. This is fascinating. My kid is currently finding this hard. Do you think it was because your brain changed as you grew? Did you have problems with dexterity as a kid? Did they ease as well? I started looking for a job last year and got 3 offers within 2 months, 2 of which were significantly higher pay. Made me realize I've been sitting around way too long. Deleted. Actually doing the chore you put off for a few days. But I don't want to do my laundry. Making my username. Complete opposite experience for me. Self-improvement and reflection. Stopped looking at outside factors in my life and started looking at what I could control. Weight, time, who I spent time with, etc. I didn't need to change my whole life in one day. I needed to make small progress. Spending one day less a week on gaming and one day a week on improving myself is better than not improving at all. Allowing myself to fail with intent to improve is so much easier now that I don't spend time with negative people that demand perfection. I had a loose hinge on my door. It kind of drove me crazy for 3 years, but I had no idea how to fix the wood that had been stripped. Then I found a product on Amazon for $10 where you shove on a sleeve, break it off and then screw in the new screws. Bought 2 new hinges that don't squeak. Took about 10 minutes and cost $20 and it's no longer a problem. Edit. Product is called Screw It Again. About $10 for 10 of them on Amazon. Edit. Thank you for all the tips about using matches, golf tees, shims, etc. Toothpicks and wood glue can work really well for filling a stripped screw hole. When I started my ad medication, I never knew how life could be and how easy it was to just get up and do stuff. Changed my life for the better and I've managed to turn so many things around. Can't believe it took me 18 years to get diagnosed. Edit. I am super happy to answer any questions, but there's so many here, so if anyone would like to message, I'm happy to have a chat, and thanks for all the love. I hope you all get to find your medication that can make life seem like it's on easy mode. Shoot me a message anytime. Started 4 days ago as a middle-aged dude, with a house and kids and all that fun stuff. GAMECHANGER. I didn't realize how much mental effort I needed just to function day to day. I literally reduced my mental load by 80% and everything feels so easy. It's like I just got high prescription glasses for my brain. Deciding to stop dealing with my life going in no direction after leaving a career that I went to college for a decade prior. I had something in the back of my mind for a long time that I wanted to do. I finally couldn't take the feeling of being stuck, so I applied to local community college to take some prerequisites and started class less than 2 weeks later. I am pretty sure I cried once I did it because the relief of finally having some direction again and felt like a weight lifted off of me. I could literally feel the change in my body once I registered. That's a good one, my friend. Changing my bathroom faucet. I'm a 56-year-old woman that's never done any plumbing before. Turns out YouTube is a wealth of knowledge. It really wasn't that hard. I get joy every time I wash my hands knowing I did that. Edit. Thanks for all the awards, kind strangers. My nearly complete Luddite friend often says that the how-to videos on YouTube almost makes up for the rest of the internet, lol. Drinking water. Went from having issues getting to sleep and then waking up grumpy and tired. Water has changed my life. Thought it would be super difficult to kick soda, but once I tried and didn't, given the benefits outweighed the taste. How much water do you drink per day? I have trouble sleeping and I wonder if drinking more is a way to help that. Edit. I absolutely love the Hydro Homie piss talk that I apparently sparked. Truly wonderful, and actually useful to note. Got a job that required full-time field work for minimal pay, in AZ. On my first day they asked about other skills. I saw other people using AutoCAD, so I said I used it in college but I was really rusty. This was a lie. I had only ever used it once to draw some circles. They were excited and got me a 4-day refresher class. I learned AutoCAD and haven't been in the field in over a year. I later asked for more pay since I wasn't a field tech anymore. They said no. I got another job using AutoCAD for double salary. Pro tip: learn AutoCAD C3D. It's not that hard, and boomers will think you're a tech god. Learn how to use Google. Everyone will think you're a god. The power steering failed on my Acura. My local Acura dealership wanted to charge me well over $1,000 to fix it. I bought a power steering pump off Amazon for $70 and found a YouTube video that explained how to fit it. I don't have any car maintenance experience, but it only took a couple of hours to do the job myself and it worked like a charm. I can't tell you how many $500 plus repairs I've done on my cars that were a few bucks in parts, and watching a few YouTube videos are not that hard. No longer caring about what other people thought about me. One day I cared, then the next day, I was just so emotionally exhausted that I just said fuck it. Never really cared since. Applying for my Irish passport. My dad was born there, so I'm a naturalized citizen. I hate paperwork, so avoided ever filling out my application. Turns out it takes 10 minutes online. Deleted. I have had a dozen software engineering jobs that required a degree. I have no degree. And did them well. Get into a bar fight. Some guy didn't like the way I looked. Never had said a word to the guy all night. He was about 15 feet away from me most of the night. I've simply had to stop going to bars. There's always that guy, and for whatever reason, I'm usually their target. For months, I had been applying for tons of jobs on every platform I could find. Talking to friends to get critiques on my resume cover letter. Updating my online portfolio. Etc. Then one day a recruiter messaged me out of the blue on LinkedIn and basically handed me a dream job. It was one interview and then a call to say hey, you're hired. I legitimately thought it was a scam right up until my first day of work. I was trying to activate Windows XP and 7 on an old computer a few years ago for giggles and software compatibility. I couldn't get them to accept my key because the servers were shut down. I tried calling the phone number they had listed and it gave me a code for my Windows 1. I entered my key. It was super easy. Best of all, I didn't have to talk to a person. A robot took care of it all. Still works to this day, so long as it's a valid key that hasn't been pirated. Microsoft will give you an activation code that works. These days it's an automated system. Unless something goes wrong, then they connect you to a representative. By the way, those Windows XP and 7 keys will likely work for Windows 10 and 11 upgrades as well. Honestly, after being incredibly broke, I remember how easy everything suddenly seemed when I had money. Car broken? Get it fixed. Sick? Go to the doctor. Need a babysitter? Hire one. Money makes everything so much easier and less disruptive to life. I knew I'd made it when I put my bills on autopay. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys stability, and stability leads to happiness. Life is so much more enjoyable when your number one focus isn't survival. Lost 25 pounds and all I had to do was stop eating before bed. Sophomore year of college, my buddies were throwing a party at their house. One of them was a moderately successful DJ in the local college scene. We have a good time and the DJ was doing his thing when he had to pee or something, so he taps me on the shoulder and asks me to just stand at his turntables to make sure no drunk idiots fuck it up. He had songs queued up, so I literally just had to stand there. About 30 seconds later, two women walk up to me and are saying how much they love the music. I tell them it's just a playlist and I'm just keeping it running. But they are still super impressed. A few minutes later the actual DJ comes back and I give up my post. Then one of the girls comes up and tells me to dance with her. One thing led to another and we ended up having a FWB relationship for a few months after that. At one point I told my friend about his girl I'd met while covering him at the DJ booth. And he laughed and said, "Yeah, sometimes it's really that easy." It was the only time in my life I've had a glimpse of the rockstar life. Getting a job working for the US Department of Defense. I'd always thought that those kind of jobs required prior military service, and a whole host of various degrees or such to actually get a job with them. Saw a job opening for one site near where I lived, and thought what the hell, so I applied. I honestly didn't expect to even get a call back, or anything. I not only get a call back, but get hired for the job. The requirements were far more lenient than I expected. All it really required was a clean criminal record, and a willingness to learn. Ended up working as a wastewater treatment tech for them, and eventually got an environmental engineering degree with their help. So, what do you do for the DOD? Let's just say I deal with a ton of shit. I made a 13th century pirate style shirt by hand, no machine, with a YouTube video. I like sewing but I'm not the best at it, so it made me feel good about doing things that seem hard. The puffy shirt. Made a career transition at 34 to what I've always wanted to do. I'll be 36 in about 2 weeks. My birthday is the last day at my current job, making a career change from accounting to a scrum master. I'm excited AF. Solving a decade of disability with an over-the-counter iron supplement. Edit. I seem to have convinced a number of people they're iron deficient and that they should start taking iron pills. While iron is unlikely to be harmful in over-the-counter doses over the short term, in the long term it can literally kill you if at all possible. Get medical supervision for doing this. I'm doing it on my own because I can't convince my doctor I'm deficient when I definitely am, but this carries risks with it. When I was pregnant I couldn't take the vitamins because they had too much iron in them. 20 years later, I start craving raw meat like crazy. No amount of steak would stop it. Turns out I went anemic somehow and just passed the threshold or something. I take 3 iron supplements a day and haven't craved raw meat since. Raising my teenager. I was regaled with horror stories about teens, but he was so easy. All it took was mutual respect and a genuine liking of one another. He's now a very well-adjusted adult. This makes me think. How many people can't just genuinely like their kid because they don't like themselves? My parents took issue with the parts of me that they disliked about themselves frequently, but I never recognized it as projection until now. I just thought they lacked all forms of self-awareness. Making bread and moving across tech country was much easier than expected. Are those two related? Did you bring the bread with you? Virtually everything my anxiety has prevented me from doing until I do it. I was drunk at a party and saw a cute girl. stumbled over to her and literally said, "You're cute, can I have your number?" Nearly a decade later, she's next to me with our child asleep on her lap. Sometimes, getting the date is just that easy. To shame her even further, she was sober. I was blitzed enough to silence all my normal second guessing and internal thoughts that get in my own way, but she had a drunken nerd just straight up ask her out, no small talk or anything, and decided that it was a good idea. That was so cute. Learning to cook with raw ingredients. Turns out throwing random bullshit that tastes good together usually works as long as you understand what you like. I had accepted a new job but was anxious about giving my notice at my old job. I had been there for 8 years and really loved my team. I had also been stressed out that I was taking a week off between jobs because it was a stretch financially. I finally set up a meeting with my boss. I couldn't even sleep the night before. An hour before I was going to give my notice, my boss's boss called me into a meeting with HR. I was being laid off, along with a large number of other employees. They were so sorry. My boss's boss was in tears. She promised they would take care of me. Anyway, I got 20 weeks of severance and a full 3 weeks of between jobs. Unfucking believable. The best thing that's ever happened to me. I was so shocked that I almost started laughing during the meeting and had to pretend I was trying not to cry. Reigniting a friendship. My current best friend lived abroad for a year and we hadn't really met in person much if at all for a while before then either, only texting every now and then. When she moved back I asked if she wanted to meet up, and now we're really close. My closest friend of 15 years just moved across the world and it's been really hard. This gives me hope. Getting my pilot license. To be fair, I did study a lot but it was one of those things I wasn't sure I was gonna do well on. My instructor said I'm ready but I wasn't sure. Day of the check ride, I answered every question correctly and without hesitation and did every maneuver correctly. We parked and my examiner said, "So how's it feel to be a private pilot?" I thought in my head there's no way even though I did everything right with relative ease. Standing up for myself, and no longer being afraid to upset others by simply existing. Lol. My life improved considerably when I learned the magic of saying no to things I didn't have to do or want to do. Most of the time, people just said okay and life went on. Designing and building 2 beautiful leaded glass window panes for our bathroom window. It's pretty much like putting together a puzzle but you get to decide what shape the pieces are. The day I left my abusive ex-husband. I was so scared to leave but scared to stay. But once I broke free other felt so easy looking back in hindsight. I wanted to meet my favorite band, so I just quietly didn't leave the venue once security started showing people out. I guess they thought I must have been a roadie, because they never got on my case. Anyway, I met them, yada yada, now I'm a professional concert lighting designer. I feel like there's a lot missing to this story in that yada yada. Spent a year thinking my bathroom electrical outlet was broken and needed a repair. One day someone suggested flipping the breaker. It was that easy. My divorce. No lawyers, no fighting. I gave her the house. She makes more than me so no alimony child support. Just filled out the paperwork, paid the nominal court fees, and it's all good. I see my kids every few days and we have both moved on and get along. Fuck yeah, adults being adults. In an attempt to sleep with a girl, I told her she was on my to-do list. We had sex that night. First time ever drunk, was trying to flirt with a girl and my friend was trying to hook up with a different girl. Because alcohol, we somehow ended up near my dorm and friend made out with the girl he was flirting with. I knew I had to make a move and say something, but had no idea what to do. The only thing I could think of was the corniest shit ever. Well, we can't let them have all the fun. It fucking worked. We made out and eventually all 4 of us ended up in a dorm. Turns out if someone likes you or thinks you're cute, they'll just accept whatever stupid shit you say. Or alcohol, I don't know. Was at Carolina Beach last summer around Memorial Day. We get to the boardwalk one afternoon and there's an arcade there. There's a skill game where you have to press a button that moves a fixture with a razor on it. When you let the button go, the device stops and the razor snaps through the middle. There's a small string close to the glass. If you time it right, the razor cuts the string, and this huge door opens and you get all the prizes in the machine. Swipe card to play, press button and hold, release, rope cuts, door opens. My son is losing his mind, and I'm just regretting the next 2 hours where I have to lug this giant bear and box of sandcastle toys all over the boardwalk. I still haven't decided if I'm a savant at this game, or it's just really easy. As someone who worked in the arcade and prize game space recently, you got lucky. Those games seem super easy, but the window of success is crazy narrow.